because the way the game went, they feel that they deserve it much more, but as well that the reflection of the game is that we lost the game, basically. But they are ready. They know that the games they're coming up in the next few days are massive for us for the future of next season as well. And they are willing to go and try again and put the same efforts and commitment.
And obviously Liverpool on Wednesday, big game against the champions, but naturally some fans are already looking towards the Cup semi-final on Saturday against Man City. How will that game influence your selection for Wednesday?
We have to go game by game. Today we will know more as well about how the players are recovered. Obviously, some players have had huge demand since we joined the season and played a lot of minutes, and you can see that recovery-wise with the schedule that we have given again by the Premier League every 2.5 days to play. But we will assess them today and tomorrow and put the players on the pitch that are in the best possible conditions to compete and try to win the game again.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Hi, Mikel.
Geraint at Sky.
Hi there. Hi, Mikel. Hope you're well.
Yeah.
Can I just pick up with areas which, it's going to come as no surprise to you, areas of concern in terms of the defensive frailties. How difficult is it to try and get a short-term fix on measures like defensive frailties? As you say, you've got games that literally coming every few days. It's obviously an area of concern. How challenging is it to try and shore up defensive frailties?
Well, it's a collective game, but obviously within that collective game, there is a lot of individual games that happens and a lot of sequencing throughout the 95 minutes that we play. Individual errors are part of football. You can make them and they can go unnoticed if something doesn't happen. And obviously when those finish in a goal, the highlight goes there. I'm not concerned about that. That was something that we will sort. Obviously, short term is more difficult to do it, but what happens after you make an individual error, how you react to that, how you keep trying, and your mindset to keep continuing the game, to try to put that one back and try to resolve the situation and win it. And it's not just the player that makes the individual error, but the rest how to react to try to help the player who has done it. But yes, we got punished big time the other day with that, and we have to learn. And you know that teams are expecting that sometimes as well, and we cannot give them anything.
Mikel, there are discussions going on with government and Premier League and maybe even clubs about the potential return of supporters to stadiums in however they may choose to do it. Given now you've had about half a dozen games with no crowds, can you give a sense of what it really is like in an empty stadium and perhaps how it may help if and when supporters can come back in?
A different game. I would name it like this. The crowd affects many situations. The crowd doesn't allow the team that is playing at home to have certain behaviors during the game, because it doesn't. He's asking all the time, he's demanding the home team to act in a certain way. He puts pressure on players when they have the ball, when they don't have the ball. And as well, it gives a different energy to the whole game. The passion, the moments before the game, when you are in the warm-up, is a completely different game. And hopefully we can have them back, obviously, with a very safe environment for them. And I understand that it's going to be a slow process again, but hopefully we will get there.
Mikel, finally from me, just wondering if it's sort of a reaction, if I may, from you with the decision yesterday from CAS on Manchester City, and maybe a wider question for all when it comes to financial fair play going forward, given the last 4 months with coronavirus and sort of bringing clubs slightly closer. Just your feelings on FFP, given what happened yesterday.
Well, there is no question about what happens. They completely deserve to be in Champions League because what they've done on the pitch is unquestionable. And then the regulators have looked at it and have decided that they haven't done anything wrong. So you have the two aspects that are really clear and transparent, and they're going to be in Champions League because they deserve for what they do in the pitch and what they do outside the pitch.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Sam at Premier League.
Hi there, Mikel. Hope you're well. If I may go back to the game at the weekend, 76% possession for your side in the second half. When you look back at that match and the stats that go along with it, is that something which pleases you, or is it immaterial if the scoreline isn't in your favour?
No, I'm not too concerned about the possession. Is how we attack the opponent's box, how we generate situations to score goals, the dominance, how quick we regain the ball, how close we do it next to the opponent's goal. Obviously, it tells you how far we've come to be able to do that in an away ground against one of the biggest rivals. It shows the personality and what the team wants to do, and it's going to be a big part of our identity. But we're going to finish that having produced the 3 points and the security that we can control and dominate the games against any opponent.
I guess with that identity in mind, you've been at the club just over half a year now. When you look ahead to the Liverpool match and Jurgen Klopp, is that the staple, the model in terms of building a club and the way a manager is essentially taken a side from around sort of 6th, 7th position and taken them to, of course, winning the Premier League and Champions League?
Yeah, what they've done, it's phenomenal. Obviously, the first 2 years, they took them some time to rebuild the squad and to create again a new culture, a new philosophy and a game model that suited the coach. And then they started to recruit every single player in relation to what they needed. And that's where I think they were really smart, because they bought a specificity for every position that was required to get strength. Obviously, financially, they had a big backing and made some big signing, which completely changed the club, in my opinion.
And just finally from me, they're of course chasing the Premier League points record still, not the result that they would have wanted the other day. Does that change your approach to the game, knowing that they will still be coming out fighting for something?
100%. And if you look at the last games, the way they've played and the lineups that they are putting there, you can tell that they are coming here with full commitment and trying to win the point. The result that they had at City as well, when you look back the game, it could have been completely different. And you cannot question the attitude or the energy of that team in any game or any minute or any game. That's probably one of the non-negotiables that they have, and you can see that in every game.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
George at the Beeb.
Mikel, I was just wondering, when Jurgen took over at Liverpool, you was still playing for Arsenal. Is it your job you've got a bit similar to what he's had to do in 4 years? You've got a similar sort of rebuild. Liverpool were drifting a bit, and you've got to do a similar thing to get Arsenal back where
You
they...
asked me that question in 4 years' time, and we both are sitting here, and I tell you, yes, we've done it. I will be so happy. But I know how many decisions have to be right, how much support you need from the club and the people around, how much connection you have to generate with all your fans to have the full package. And afterwards is football, and the context right now is different to what it was as well 4 years ago, and the abilities for a club to rebuild something are more limited. But certainly it's something that we have to look at how they did it, because it's a great example. But we have to know that we have to do it our way with our resources, and having in mind that the context right now is different. But we are heading to be the best, and that's my only objective with this club, and we have to find a way to do it.
It will, the potential without European football, which is a possibility. I know you've got the FA Cup, but how much could that hinder your finances and your ability to bring the players you need in to make Arsenal better?
European football gives you more financial resources. That is clear. We're going to keep trying to the end of the season to try to achieve that, obviously. And after that, we will assess where we are, what's our capability to recruit, to maintain the players that we have, to maintain the structure that we have in place at the moment at the club, and move forward from there.
And in light of that and the game against City on Saturday night, is there potentially you could rest some players tomorrow to save them for the match against Man City, or will you put out full strength side?
Well, I believe that it's very important to have the right momentum and energy to get into important matches. And in order to do that, you have to go game by game. Today and tomorrow, we will assess the player how they are. Obviously, they've been hit. A lot of them, they played some crazy minutes up till now. And we're going to have, again, games every 2.5 days. So we will try to put the strongest team as possible here and as well on Saturday. And to do that, we need to know how everybody recovers from the game.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ian at TalkSport.
Hi, Mikel. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah.
Emi Martinez has been brilliant since coming into the team and made a couple of fantastic saves in your win over Norwich, and obviously the other day pulled out some top saves as well, notably the one from Ben Davies. Has it been a surprise to you how well he's done, and is it giving you a bit of a question mark now about whether Bernd Leno, when fit, be it this season or next season, walked straight back into the team?
Well, in terms of Emi's character and goalkeeping ability, I didn't have any question mark. The way he trains every day, the way he behaves and has behaved since he's been at the club has been phenomenal. It was a question mark, obviously, how he's going to do it because he didn't have any Premier League experience and how he can deal with that game after game. And he's shown that he's more than ready to do it. He's earned his place now. He's playing really well. He's playing with a lot of confidence as well. And in key moments, he's been really helpful. He needs to continue to do that. This is a marathon. It's a long run. A football club like this demands every day to be at that level. And that's what he needs to keep going.
You mentioned before playing every 2.5 days or 3 days. I get the impression you feel that maybe Arsenal could have been given a little bit more of gap between the matches. No?
We played 11 games and we only had advantage in one, which was against Spurs. The rest, all the teams had at least 24, 36 or 48 hours more than us. But look at the boys. They keep going. They go full gas. It doesn't matter. And we will do it again. And we cannot complain because it doesn't matter. We're not going to change it. The fixtures are already there. So we will keep going and try our best.
Finally from me, it's like a double-pronged question. Firstly, with your front three of Lacazette, Aubameyang and Pepe or Saka, whoever plays, Liverpool's front three of Firmino, Salah and Mane, I'm not expecting tomorrow night to be 0-0, are you? And obviously, as Mesut Ozil's not playing tomorrow night, am I expecting him to play again this season?
Well, I don't know what kind of game. Obviously, when you look at the front players that you just mentioned, obviously goals are there, but football is so unpredictable. We see. We will try to keep it nail in our side and score as many as we can. That's all we can do.
And Mesut?
The Mesut, the situation is still the same as it was.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nick from Haters.
Hi, Mikel. Yeah, just staying on Liverpool and this sort of what we've discussed about almost like a 4-year plan. You said the situation has changed. Is it realistic with your resources and the situation that Arsenal can be challenging for the title again in 4 years' time?
I don't know. To talk about 4 years in football, it's almost impossible. You have to see a trend and you have to see movement and you have to see that the direction you are taking is the right one and you are making progress all the time. At the end of the season, we're going to have to assess where we are in all terms at the club, what's the ambition and where we want to head in. And in order to do that, whether the ambition and the level is equal or is not realistic or is more than realistic. And that's what we have to get a deal on.
And talking about their recruitment, obviously one player they signed was a former teammate of yours, I believe, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Looking at his situation now and the success he's had, do you wish Arsenal did more to keep him? And do you think he's been totally justified in making that move away from Arsenal?
Well, it's easy to say that right now, but at the moment you have to understand all the circumstances. I don't know what Alex wanted to do in his career at the time, the situation with the club, how the negotiation were. I don't have all the information to value that. We all could see the potential of Alex. where he could develop. He picked an incredible club, obviously, to move. He wanted a challenge probably after so many years here. You have to accept that, and I think we all wish him the best, because as well as a great player, I think he was someone that was really, really liked amongst the fans, the staff and players.
And just finally from me, you've made it clear that Mesut's not available for this game. But as Ian was saying, fans keep asking, has he got any chance of playing again this season, from what you know?
I don't know. At the moment, the situation remains the same, and we will see if that changes.